Hey everyone, so today I wanted to talk to you about what I think is the best free synthesizer plugin out there. Now, if you've ever tried different synthesizer plugins, you'll know that there's a ton of different ones out there and they can get really confusing really quickly. Some of them use oscillators, some use samples, some have modulation, some have envelopes, some have effects, and then some have some made up things that they think are good things to put in synthesizers. And that can all get really overwhelming and really confusing really quickly. So I decided I wanted a few criteria for what I think make a great synthesizer plugin. So the first thing I'm looking for is something that's really flexible and has a lot of different features in it. I do want effects, I want envelopes, I want LFOs, I want all that kind of classic synthesizer stuff. But number two is that I also want it to be really easy to use. I don't want to get bogged down in the details and trying to figure out how to do a simple little thing and just feeling like I'm wasting my time. And number three is that I just want it to sound really good. I want to be able to create some really interesting, unique, great sounds, but I also want to be able to scroll through a bunch of different presets that sound really cool and interesting as well. So through all the different synthesizer plugins that I looked at, I found the best one to be Vital. It's free, it sounds really good, and it's got a really nice, easy drag and drop workflow that is very quick and easy to pick up on. And I forgot to mention too, one of the other important things that I'm looking for in a synthesizer is I want to be able to sort of think of a sound in my head and be able to get it on a synthesizer with relative ease and get kind of close to what I'm kind of hearing in my head. So let's jump into Vital and let's try to do that. So I'm using Logic, but this will work the same with any DAW that you're using. So I think at first this looks a little overwhelming, but I'm going to break it down. It's really quite simple and pretty easy to use. So I think the sound that I want to create is sort of a warm, pulsing, kind of wah, 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 wah kind of sound. Something that is kind of wide and stereo and lush, maybe with some reverbs and delays or something like that. But it's just kind of like a warm pad that kind of pulses in the background. So let's try to create that. So the way Vital works is you've got your different sections. You have your oscillators here, you have your envelopes here, your LFOs here, and then on the next page over, you have your effects. That's sort of the basis of the entire plugin. If you can kind of wrap your head around these basics, you can kind of do anything you want with the plugin. I'll show you how. So the first thing we'll check out is this oscillator section here. And because I know I want something kind of warm, I know I'm going to use a filter of some type, but I'll just start with a more buzzy sound so I have some frequencies to filter out. That's kind of cool. Lots of different interesting sounding oscillators here. Let's go with this one here, but let's also add another one an octave up. That sounds pretty cool. I think we'll be able to filter out some frequencies and get a nice warm sound with that. So the next thing I'm going to do is hop over to the effects and get that filter that I'm hearing in my head. So here are the different effects here, and they're all off. And all you have to do is hit this little button to turn them on. And then once they are on, you can kind of drag them around and move them in different orders if you want. So let's start with this filter. Now that we have that filtered sound, let's put an LFO on it to get that wobbly sound that I'm looking for. So this is the LFO section here, and all you have to do to put the LFO on the cutoff frequency is take this LFO and drag it wherever you want. And you can see everything highlights, so you know where exactly you have to drag it to get it to work. So on the filter, I know that this is the cutoff right here. So all I have to do is drag the LFO to the cutoff, and now I've got this little dot here, which is showing me that I've got a modulator on that cutoff. And I can change the amount that the LFO affects the cutoff with this little circle right here. So let's hear what that sounds like. So that's close. I just want to get it a lot faster. So let's up the frequency. Let's go with eighth notes. Yeah. Cool, we're already getting kind of close to the sound that I'm trying to hear in my head, but let's make it much more lush and wide and fun sounding. So let's go ahead and add some reverb and maybe a flanger. Maybe we'll add a phaser too, just stack up and see what stuff sounds like. pull these modulators back just a little bit. And then I want to go back over to the voice section and make these oscillators a little bit wider. Or maybe I'll just make one of them wide and I'll keep one mono. That's already starting to sound pretty cool. With just a couple minutes of work, I've really created a unique sound that is already really useful and sounds really cool. So you can see how kind of quick and easy it is to get up and running and get some really cool sounds. The one other thing that I really like to have out of a synthesizer plugin like this is just some great sounding presets. So let's just scroll through some presets and see what they sound like. So there's lots of cool sounding stuff in there too. I think this is a pretty clear winner for what I think is the best free synthesizer plugin. It's easy to use. It's got a ton of different things you can do with it. It's got these really cool presets. It's really kind of a no-brainer if you're looking for a flexible, versatile synthesizer. So check that out, and thanks for watching. Catch you later.